Okay, ready. Okay, here we go. Son of Swords. I'm just going to lay them all out, and then we will see what the picture has to tell us. Five of Wands. The Lovers. I'm very happy to see this card in your reading in a very good position. Ten of Cups. The Fool. Always fun to find that card in a reading. Mother of Pentacles, also known as Discs. Son of Wands. Two of Wands. Ace of Swords and Ace of Cups. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Why do I say wow? This reading is, well, two aces in a row. That's a wow. Fun. I always love to see the aces in a reading. And also wow that this is a reading that is full of energy, promise, strength, potential, opportunity, and blessing. All right, I'll just start this way. First of all, you have all the suits of the deck in this reading. There are cups, swords, wands. There's a single pentacle, and there are two cards from the major suit, the major arcana, the trumps, they're known as. And it's a very uplifting, energetic, powerful, promising reading. So that's very exciting. And in order to start talking about it in an individual way about the cards, it's hard to pick where to start. But I'm actually quite fascinated here that by the occurrence of three particular cards, not over the other cards, but a great place to begin. And that is the Ten of Cups, the Lovers, and the Ace of Cups. And the way the cards are situated, and I don't have to go into that specifically, but I just want to talk about this set of cards. I will say that I love that this card is in your reading, the Lover's card, because I happen to know it's your ally card for this entire year. And it's falling, it's saying, besides that, by showing up in the reading, it's like emphasizing for you and taking it to a higher degree of potency, that everything for you at this time and for the foreseeable future, maybe even this entire year, your strength, your success, your best bet, if you will, is to follow your heart, is to make choices and make commitments from what you love. Let that be your guiding light. Let that be your litmus test. Let that be the measuring stick of how you make choices and proceed. So I've put it in the center of this trio. There's the Ten of Cups and the Ace of Cups, and the way they are situated in the reading, the ten is saying something that you were emotionally involved with and emotionally attached to is in a closure phase. Happily, that's falling in your past. It's not something you need to be worried that it's going to happen to you. It's already in progress. It's already, the corner has already been turned on something that you've loved and been related and attached to emotionally. And that is not a bad thing. It's a natural thing. All things have a lifespan, and that part of your life has arrived to the time when you're naturally saying goodbye to it in the form that it has had for you until now. What is magical and beautiful and just sweet is that your reading also contains the Ace, which expresses the beginning of something new for your heart. You will set forward, and it's also falling in the reading of what's to come. There's two cards that talk about what's to come, but this card is a card of facing forward, looking forward to what fills your heart up, what new love is coming towards you, what new emotional endeavor that you are stepping into. And all of these cards I may say more about as we go along. So I want to come here now to the first two cards in the reading, which always express what's immediately most apparent for you at this time. And we have the Son of Swords here and the Five of Wands. Son of Swords describing, and swords is the suit of information, the suit of words, of thoughts, of beliefs, of communication, of truth, and its opposite, lies or falsity. So the way I'm reading these cards, it's obvious that I would read them this way at this time because of the way things are working right now in our world. But information is coming to you swiftly. You may be feeling over or taken aback, slightly breathless with how fast things are coming in the form of information. Again, I don't mean to say that's right or wrong. I'm just expressing this is very present and accounting for you and actually all of us at this time. So here is the Son of Swords. It's messages, it's information, and it's combined. It's connected to energetic turmoil. Things are getting churned up. Excitement, anxiety, frustration. Not any. It doesn't mean that you're being defeated. It just means that it's a time of I'm even going to use the word confusion. The confusion, all the fives express something that's being undone in order to redo in a better way. So, and the fives are not a comfortable card overall. They're usually experienced as, I describe oftentimes the fives as, what your closet looks like while you're cleaning it out before you get it put back together. It's a mess, but it's a mess that it's working its way forward to become something really, really better. So that's your picture right now. And you know that, but I know tarot readings don't always tell you what you didn't know. They affirm what is going on so that you can make stronger choices. I want to now point to another wand. So I would say, well, actually there's 3 wands. Let's look at them all 3 together. So amidst the confusion, turmoil, and so forth, the 2 of Wands, if you look at the 2 of Wands, you can easily see it's a much more peaceful card. It brings up balance. 2s are about balance, and 2s are about also, they're similar to the aces in that they talk about the beginning phases. This is taking the first steps. And first steps here, this card is representing not so much what your first steps are going to be, but the first steps all around you. That again, I call this card the weather card or the God card. It is, of all the cards in the reading, the one card that you are not responsible for. You're the beneficiary of. That's why I call it the weather card. It means what's going on all around you. And all around you here is a new path on the spiritual plane. And in all journeys, it depends on how you view beginnings. If you're open to beginnings, or do you want to just get past them right away and get to where you're going. But how journeys really work on earth in life is you're on the journey. It's always the journey. Yes, you're going somewhere, but be where you are, enjoy where you are, accept where you are, learn what there is to learn where you are. So again, the weather card is presenting you with a new path. It's not fully developed. There is much yet to be revealed. And I would say to you, under the conditions of this weather and under this little tumultuous disorganization, and let's look at this as another sun. These equate in my other deck to usually to the knights, the Son of Wands. And you will see that this card, I think, easily brings to mind someone it has a masculine quality to it, so the sensibility of taking charge, standing firm about what you value, what I'm going to use this word, what turns you on, what fuels your life force. So you're fully equipped. And in fact, this card is following in the reading in the position that's called the pivotal. It's where things turn, that you can turn this turmoil around into something very promising and strong and focused and directed by being very clearly and committedly in touch with those things that really are what fuel your life. And that will go back to the lovers. Did I talk much about the lovers? What do you love? These cards, even though they're in suits that are apparently not actually opposites, but one has a more cool, or it has all the colors in it, and this one has most of the hot colors in it. Wands are the suit of fire. They're heat, they're passion, energy. Follow what you love. Follow what has heat for you. That's your map for how to go forward. If not always, certainly now. So let's look at this. Let's look at your aces. Let's look especially here at the Ace of Swords. We're talking about how swiftly and how much information is coming at this time. Within that information, within this chaos or this undoing, you're in a position like perhaps never before to have a new and a bright idea, to use your mind in ways that are at their highest and best use. And so this card is actually in a position that represents how, for the time being and for the time to come, how you, if you are feeling confused and or overwhelmed, this card is a suggestion for how to best respond to what's going on. And aces, this ace, the Ace of Swords, I would offer to you expresses strength of mind, coming into your mental strength, actually taking hold of your mind when it wants to. It's obviously being flooded with information. There's a lot of distractions, some noisiness, some chaos, but you are always in control and how you use your mind. So put your mind to work, and also keep your mind open for flashes of insight, epiphanies. That's where you want to tune yourself. So that's happening, and lovely, wonderfully, beautifully. The Fool, which is falling in the position in your reading, which is saying it speaks of something that's ideal. It's like an invitation to use your imagination. And look at this little spring chicken coming out of the egg, a little fresh, tender. It's a symbol of hope. It's a symbol of newness. It's a symbol of playfulness and vulnerability and innocence. So add that into your utility, the way you use your mind, what you're paying attention to. Look for playfulness. Look for surprises. And also, these circumstances can easily, these two cards that we were talking about, can easily influence us in a way that feels fearful. This card is saying, don't be afraid. Try not being afraid. That's a really new idea in our day and age. See how you are if you play with not being afraid. It's okay not to be afraid, and that's actually quite a wild and bright idea. It's okay not to be afraid. Play with fear. Look at fear in a new way. Make friends with fear. Think of the little chicken. If you look at the chicken, it is basically unaware of the many things that could go wrong in its world. It is this beautiful moment in time, or it could just be a little playful, hopping creature enjoying its new life. So don't underestimate the potential, the amazing treasure that is available to you now in lightening up. Don't take things so hard. Experiment with that, even if it's briefly, occasionally. You don't have to, this is not a card that's saying, oh, you got to make your life look like this. No, it's a card that says, taste me, sample me, play with me. It's like a new toy. How does it work? Who are you when you play with it? What do you learn about yourself? Who do you meet by way of being, learning this new toy? So, yeah. Interesting. I would talk a long time about this card, but I think you probably picked up on some of the drift. Quickly talk about the Mother of Pentacles. This is the one Pentacle card in your reading, and it's a suit of the real world, a suit of the ground, the physical, and it is such an affirmative card. The mother and her newborn in a moment of peace and rest and comfort. They are secure with one another. The mom knows how to care for the baby. Describes the natural order of things. Life takes care of itself. We have what we need to take care of ourselves, no matter what's happening around us. So this card's falling in, it's like if you were on that journey we were talking about, this new path, stepping into something new, this would be what is in your suitcase. This is what you're taking with you on your trip. I have what I need in my suitcase. I don't have everything, but I have what I need. And I can pick up some things as I keep moving on my trip. I'm not, driving into a void. I am driving into a world that takes care of itself. And I know how to proceed. So that is a card, again, of assurance. Your reading is very affirmative. And here, let's look at the Ace of Cups a moment. This card, it really harkens in almost every deck to the Holy Grail. It's like, what have you been searching for? What is your heart's desire? Hold that up to yourself and for yourself. And don't be afraid. Here's a card that says, don't be afraid. Here's this card, these cards. Actually, I don't know. All your cards are playing together to say there's strength, there's promise, there's success, and there's support. There is support for you to make these choices, to stand up for yourself, to move ahead on what you love. I'm going to rearrange them, see if they say something new. And 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, what have we got? All right, okay. I'll just go right down the line with the pairings. Now, these are, when I lay the cards this way, I talk about it as a duet. So it's like the two cards are speaking to one another. This is the card we described as being overwhelmed and information coming fast and heavy, set against or partnered with the lovely deer and her fawn. So don't, even as information is, maybe sweeping you off your feet, keep coming back to those parts of your life that are actually stable. They're actually comfortable. They're actually unaffected, if you will, even besides all this whirlwind, all this stirring up, all this bombardment of new information. That's a good pairing. Here is a really sweet pairing. I think I alluded to this earlier, that energetic dismantling spirits, the energy, excitement, anxiety, frustration, confusion, now being paired with this very strong figure that's very clearly in touch with those things, again, which are immovable right now, that of your own self. Those things, that your values, your what excites you, what's always excited you, that's probably not changed. So tap back into it. When you feel yourself being out of balance, frustrated, confused, hounded, give yourself that reminder that there's many things that are still the same. They're operating, they're available. I'm still in touch with them, and I can apply them to the chaos, confusion, frustration, and so forth. So there's that. Here is a beautiful, sweet pairing. I love this pairing. The weather card saying, and that would express similarly to this 10, that there's something that's closing in your life. This is expressing, your love, the power of your ability to follow your heart, to know your heart, to make choices by your heart. It has never been stronger, and it is, again, your map on this new path. Here, the ending of that emotional relationship is paired with this Ace of Swords. And I would say to you, this pairing, more than anything, it could mean many things, but what it brings to my mind is to say, tell the truth. It may be a hard truth, but truth makes everything better. And the sooner you tell yourself the truth, the stronger you are to be able to tell everyone the truth. So don't be afraid of your truth, of this ending. Don't doubt it. Allow it, accept it, admit it, acknowledge it, confirm it, and then talk about it, write about it. What upon this ending, when I say write and talk, that brings me back to this idea about story. It's a part of your story. It's not the entire, your whole story's not ending. A chapter's ending. So reread that chapter for yourself, and how do you want to tie that up? How do you want to finish that chapter? And how do you want to introduce the new chapter? I think this pairing is a great pairing. It's asking you to consider, reconsider, and then utilize your mind to make evaluations, make associations. It's a gathering. How did you do? Give yourself a grade. You're ready to be promoted. You're ready to go on in this story of yours, in this learning part of your life. So, yeah. And I'm going to say one more thing about this 10 of Cups. And we get swept away by emotions. It's very natural, and it's a very legitimate. It's even, important to be carried away in emotion. Don't, suppress them, but don't lose touch with the context that you also contain many other qualities of self. This is a portion of your life, not your whole life. So put it in context. That gives you powers, that gives you choices, that helps you derive the gift and the benefit of what you are now, seeing end. And lastly, the most delightful pair, which I think I was already talking about a little bit, or maybe not. But anyway, here they are. The little chicken, the fool, the innocent. Maybe, I think the word right now on the tip of my tongue is the word new, new, new. Interesting that we were describing, or just before, we were talking about something that you have been emotionally involved in and related to, something you've loved, something that's been good for you, something that's filled your life up, that is now in a closing stage. It's an opportunity, you get to start over. You get to start over with keeping everything that you've learned. Those are the things that aren't ending. So you say to yourself, what might I do? What do I like? Maybe I like something I've never liked before. Maybe I want to try something I've never tried before to see if I like it. So I would say, like a birthday present is step lightly into this new year that you're facing. Despite the windstorm of and the confusion of the environmental, circumstantial, that in itself is presenting a pathway to newness. It's part of this ending very largely. I mean, you have everything you need. Your heart is strong. Your mind is strong. The life is setting you on a new path. You have very strong wings. You're fully supported. There's so much left in your life that you do love, that loves you as much. So I am probably now just going to start repeating myself, and I will say that is a good place to stop, but I'm going to look at the very bottom card of the deck, which here is the Eight of Swords. Looking like, depending on how you read it, swords again are about information, the mind, telling the truth, communication in all its forms. And here is a card that describes stillness or being suspended, pausing, not making snap judgments, not jumping to conclusions. And I'm going to put in the word, which I really haven't yet. I don't know. I have to some, but anyway, I'm going to say this: the element of time. Take your time. Do not hurry. Do not force. Time, all will unfold naturally. We've described some of nature's rhythms, right? You'll know when to move. Life will offer you information. You will respond to it with all your strengths and gifts, and with the support of those you love. So I'll just end this way. Go gently and stay close.